Hi, and welcome to Marathon Teaser Part 1. I'm Garen Daly, and I'm the Festival Director for the Boston Science Fiction Film Festival, and I'm joined with Angela, who is also on the Programming Committee of the Boston Science Fiction Film Festival. And tonight we're going to talk about 3 of the films that are going to show up in the marathon. And then later in the month, we'll be doing another one where we show 3, all the way up until we have the marathon in February. So, Angela, thank you for joining me on this auspicious occasion.
Sure. Happy to be here.
So the first film we're going to talk about is a film that actually came out in 2020. It's a film called Love and Monsters, and it's a story that So one of the things that I do when you start programming a marathon, and I'm programming it with several people, so it's not like the old days where I would just program it. Ian Judge is also programming. The programming committee gets involved in it and gives some ideas. But we start off with a film or two that came out in the past year or so that somehow slipped through the cracks or whatever. And Love and Monsters, I think, did that. I don't know if you saw it or not. By the way, did you see?
I have not. I have not. No.
Oh, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. It's basically a story about. It's a YA film, young adult film. Dylan O'Brien is in a post-apocalyptic world, and he's going to find his girlfriend who got separated when the aliens came down and took over the Earth. And the aliens are all these big bugs and stuff.
Yeah, I was able to check out the trailer, and the trailer looked, really fun. So it looks like a really enjoyable film.
Did you like the monsters? Because I thought the monsters were pretty creative.
Yeah, the trailer didn't go too deep into the monsters, to be honest. The one that I checked out, it was really more of like the love story, the coming of age. They didn't really get into a lot of the special effects. I know that this film was nominated for an Oscar for special effects, but unfortunately the trailer didn't go too deep, into that portion of the film. So I guess I can't say too much.
It's just got Dylan O'Brien and Michael Rooker, who everyone knows as one of those guys who shows up in a lot of sci-fi films. The film only grossed about $1 million, so it really kind of slipped through the cracks. And so now that's one of the reasons why we brought it in. The other reason why we brought it in, well, I'll tell you what. Here's a clip. Here's the clip. I think this is part of the clip of what you saw. So here's a clip of Love and Monsters.
Listen to your instincts out here, man.
What if I have terrible instincts?
You'll die.
Super encouraging speech.
You made it all this way for a girl, huh? You ever hear the term fool's errand? No, Amy, I miss you so much.
We have lost this war.
We could still take our world back.
You're more of a survivor than I thought.
I love the special effects when all those things are floating up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just looked kind of cool and stuff like that. There's a couple of things that we also look at when we're thinking about booking a film, and that is where's the director from, where's the director going, and are there any other things about the film that are of note? And the director is from South Africa. And he made a film, I think it was called Five Fingers to Marseille, something like that. And this is his second film. He's already working on a streaming video TV show called Nautilus, which is based on, obviously 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. He's directing season 1, episode 1. The other thing that I loved is that the writer, this guy Matthew Robinson, is working on the sequel to Love Die. I keep saying Love. What's wrong with me?
Don't know.
Actually, I thought you probably did.
I ask that myself often. I don't know the answer.
Anyway, Live, Die, Repeat. And she's working on the sequel, Live, Die, Repeat, Repeat. He's also working on a Little Shop of Horrors reboot, as well as a Star Wars reboot. So the people involved in this are up and coming. And so that's something we always look for. And when we talk a little bit later about one of the other films in this this bit, we'll talk about that as well, up and coming people. For people who are real aficionados of film, and I mean people who really like character actors like I do, there's one guy in this who has a bit cameo role, a guy by the name of Bruce Spence. Bruce Spence has been in all the Mad Max movies. He always plays this weird guy. He's had this incredible career where he's probably been in about 300-400 films over the course of his career. And I love it when you see, these character actors going on.
Yeah, the people who are like, oh, I know that guy. And like,
yeah.
You can't remember the name, but you've seen them all the time. And you're like, yeah, who is that? Like, those type of actors who pop up in everything.
Yeah. I remember when I was a kid, and just to show you how weird I was as a kid, that when I was watching movies and TVs, I always loved the credits. And it was before IMDb and stuff like that. I'm always trying to figure, where do I know this person from? And how do I, it's like, I was weird like that.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty weird.
Yeah. Thank you. That's why I like you. Anyways, the second film that we're going to be talking about is a brilliant piece of programming by Ian Judge, our classic curator, and it's called The Day the Earth Caught Fire. And again, it's from 1961. It's directed by Val Guest. And, have you seen any of this, Angela?
Again, I have to admit I have not seen this film. So 0 for 2 here. But I do know a little bit about it. I know that it's famous for kind of having this orange tint, and really kind of to be able to kind of set the scene of this, possible apocalypse that's coming to the Earth. I know it's like the Earth goes off orbit and is spinning towards the sun. So I haven't seen this film. It does remind me of, there was a Twilight episode that was similar to this, actually, where the Earth kind of moved off of its orbit and started spiraling towards the sun.
And so I believe that the Twilight Zone episode was influenced by this film, because this film came out in 1961. Again, it's directed by Val Guest. Val Guest also did When Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth and 2 of the K-Mass series of films. But here, you don't need me to tell you the story. Here's a clip that kind of explains what's going on. What you just said, Angela.
The nutation of the Earth. Nutation? Well, it's a slight oscillation on the Earth's axis, caused by the pull of the sun and the moon on the equator. You see, there's a slight bulge on the...
There's also an item here about axis rotation. There's been 11-degree variation, whatever that may mean.
They've shifted the tilt of the Earth. The stupid, crazy, irresponsible bunglers.
4, 3, 2, 1.
So there's some, first of all, the closing scene with the 4, 3, 2, 1 is an attempt by the humans in the film to try and set off simultaneous nuclear explosions to get the Earth back in orbit again, in its proper orbit. And what's interesting is, they did a really nice job with the mats. That's all matting work that's being done in the back. Those aren't, they weren't really live shots. They didn't have the budget for that. But what I like about the brilliance of Ian booking this film is, when we're looking at what's going on in California in the West with everything burning, this is a film that was prescient from 1961 talking about it. The cause is different, but the fact is that humanity is facing some of these issues that were first talked about in a sci-fi film back in 61. I mean, that's pretty nice.
Absolutely. I mean, the world, moving towards destruction is certainly relevant in 2021. I know that the film also has a lot of discussion about the media, and I think that seems really relevant today too. I mean, the news media and how much it is informing us or not informing us, that ongoing debate of the role of the media. I think that is going to resonate with people in 2021 just as much as it would have in the 60s.
It's also interesting about looking at the cast. Edward Judd was around for a while. He was the main lead, the hunk. And Leo McKern later had a couple of great TV shows. Janet Monroe, who was the female lead, died early on, died at 38. So her career was cut short. She's probably best known for, and I was looking at this film today, Darby O'Gill and the Little People, which is notable for the fact that she's the ingenue, but that Sean Connery is in it in one of his early films, and he sings a lot. And I think one of the reasons why I never really liked the film is because Sean Connery is singing a lot, and it kind of like ruins this James Bond thing in my head. So, and then the other film that she was in was Swiss Family Robinson from Disney. So she had a great early career, and then it died off. But again, it's a prescient film. Oh, one last thing about actors. There is a throwaway scene when people are panicking and a policeman is directing a taxi cab. Take a close look at that policeman because it's Michael Caine, and probably his first role. It's 3 years before Zulu, which is considered his first role. Yeah. But that's Michael Caine. So that's the two films we got so far. Love and Monsters and Day the Earth Caught Fire from 1961. The next film and the last film in our trilogy or marathon teaser part is called Cosmos. And I'm sure you haven't seen this, Angela. Did you get a chance to look at the trailer?
I did not. I was not able to. So
sorry, I caught you there.
Yeah, catching me off guard here.
Sorry about that.
Making me look very ignorant.
Well, this is your first time, so let's not make a big deal about that. So let me tell you the story about this. This is directed by two brothers. They're directed by Elliot and Xander Weaver from the UK. And they finished the film just as the pandemic started, and they got stuck. They didn't know what to do with it. Film festivals were closed. They wanted to go out into film closed. But what they did with this film is it is a kind of a proof of concept film for them. Proof that they can actually go out and make a good film. And this is a good little film. It's not, it doesn't have a huge budget. And the story is about three nerds in England who spend weekend nights going out into the hinterland and looking at the stars, listening to the stars, and interacting with each other. And they all work for the same company or did work for the same company. So there's an interpersonal thing. And then they discover something. And here's a trailer that shows a little bit about that.
Okay, let's check it out.
The choice you make right now that counts. You make the right moves here, and you have in your hands the greatest discovery in the history of mankind.
Hold on! Hold on! Oh, right! Run, Mike, run!
So the question is what did they discover? Angela, could you figure it out in the trailer?
No, I'd rather not guess. I'd rather just watch it and see.
Well, obviously they discover a spaceship. And the question is whether it's real or not. That's really what it gets down to. But it's all about the interpersonal stories. And it's a great example of one of the things that we do here at Boston Sci-Fi. And that is finding those films that are small, that are really have some creative talent behind it, but they don't have the budget and they need a place to be able to show their films. So Elliot and Xander literally called me up and said, would you play our film? We want to be able to show the film in a film festival format. And we really want to have it be Boston. And this is a thing that's been bugging me for a long time. And that is, when it comes to Boston Science Fiction Film Festival, we are respected more outside of Boston than we are in Boston. I mean, just today, I looked at the Boston Society of Film Critics, and in all the 47 years that we have been together, They have never notified us of anything. Now, I could be wrong about that, but that's typical of what Boston is. But outside of Boston, people love us. That's why we get a lot of reviews. And for this year alone, our festival, we will have 30 films, 30 countries represented in our film festival. And that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean, as part of the programming team, I've been, lucky enough to be part of bringing in films, from Latin America, from Asia. It's been, from Europe. It's really has been interesting the way that we're able to pull films from all over the world, but sometimes we don't really have that local connection. It's a little strange.
And I think it's because we are global. We are. I mean, I think really we embrace everything. So and probably don't play the publicity game as well as we should when it comes to the local media. But we do have our supporters there, and I don't want to be completely a thing. But anyways, Elliot and Xander are actually coming, and we're putting this film in the marathon so that people can see it, because I think it's going to be a really good marathon film for people to see. And then they can get to meet Elliot and Xander, and they're working on another film. They've got a much bigger budget called The Deep. So they're rising filmmakers.
Nice. Okay, so another up and coming
exactly
group of filmmakers.
Exactly. It's another up and coming people, and that's important. It's important because then we get people to appreciate us. And another, I don't know if I told you this or not, but there's the New York Times just published the 5 most interesting sci-fi films to watch streaming right now. And one of them is called Multiverse, which we did the US premiere of last year, called Tangled. They changed the name. So that's the kind of films we show at the festival, and now also in the marathon. So
I mean, we've gotten so good at finding these talented people who are just starting out, and we kind of find them and showcase them, and then they go off and make all of these other great films.
We should do a segment on just what's going to be in the festival, because I think you would have much more to say about that, because you saw so many more films.
Yeah, I would be able to talk about films I actually saw. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I put you in a tough spot. I apologize for that. But we're going to be doing this again on the 27th of December, 7 o'clock. It'll be live, and we'll do 3 more films from the marathon. We ask you to make sure you go out and buy tickets. Great Christmas presents, marathon tickets, festival tickets, and I think that's about it for now. Is there anything else that you would want to say, Angela?
Just make sure to buy your tickets for the festival, and we talked about the marathon tonight, but make sure to enjoy the entire festival. I helped a lot with curating the films for the rest of the festival.
Well, you did a lot of work. You did a lot.
So I know that there's a lot of great work there.
It's amazing.
A lot of great filmmakers and producers. So absolutely look at the entire festival, not just the marathon.
So before we say goodbye for this installment of a Marathon Teaser Part 1, a tip of the hat to Mark Sherwood, who is behind the scenes producing and directing this. Mark, thank you very much. And please tune in on the 27th when we do Part 2 of Marathon Teaser. I'm Garen Daly.
I'm Angela Burgess.
And good night. Thank you.